Welcome to Boys on the Rocks, the only podcast that hits harder than Sonny Bill's shoulder charges and talks more smack than The Rock in 1998. We are just a few washed up real battlers, no NRL contracts, no Super Rugby highlights, no WWE belts, just a whole lot of gout, dodgy knees, broken dreams, and even worse
Whoa,
takes. But if you
whoa,
are
whoa,
after some,
whoa.
whoa, hey, I'm not finished. All right, I'm not finished. If you're after some tactical analysis, you've come to the wrong place. But if you're keen for yarns harder than the Royal Rumble,
100.
Brian Pandy's match, and banter sloppier than the Warriors' defense in 2010s, then you come to the right place. We're swinging chairs, missing tackles, botching moves, and dropping cold takes weekly, all while trying to sound like we know what we are on about. NRL, Super Rugby, WWE, and all of the chaos in between. Let's get rested. Let's get roasted. Let's jump on the rocks. Hey,
Um,
hey. um,
who's
yeah,
this
bro,
movie?
absolutely. I think we're gonna put Roman Reigns music, the OTC, his music in the back of that intro, and gonna practice it, bro. It's gonna be
You
number one.
just add on all the work for the police and all good.
Hey, yep,
All right,
that's what
speaking
it
of not
is.
knowing what we're talking about, the game opening the weekend to start us off ends upsetting the Panthers. Not really upset, um, seeing how they played last week, but anyway, 30 points to 12. You'll be happy there, Bolvi. But just some of the points I thought from there. We haven't really seen the Panthers play that poorly in a really long time, especially the chin. Hammer got a lot of reps, but what I was seeing from Hammer is if you chuck him in the Queensland side, he's going down. His defense was so poor, his effort, I thought 1D was terrible. Chuck him
I
in the
say put him
Queensland,
in. I say
bro,
put him
chuck him
in.
in,
Just
he's...
Put
the
him in.
case.
I thought he was terrible.
Man, shut up, man. Honestly, bro. Like, Hammer destroys you guys, man. Put him in a team with the rest of the boys, and he'll be able to carve you guys up. But he was mean. Well,
Yep,
he was mean
yep.
when he's
On
actively
one side,
engaged.
of, on one side of the field, he was really good and really good.
In attack, man, hey, he's number one. In defense, he just needs to sit next to Tino there and just make him do all the work when he's in the
Yeah,
Origin team.
no, but good shout for you there, picking or tipping them to win over the Panthers. Another one I wanted to sort of get attention to as well was Gilbert. I feel like he's just got to take him out of the squad, and I feel like he's sort of letting them down there. I mean, he's sort of in the loop for an Origin return possibly as well. So yeah, not looking the goods. He was sort of there early on now. Sort of fantasy teams earlier on, but a lot of us traded them out last week. But yeah, no, just with the eye test and looking on the game over the weekend, letting the Dolphins down, I think. I mean, not something they got to worry about. I mean, do you be preemptive about making these changes for a successful run at the end of the season, or do you make those changes now, despite
Uh,
being a winning team?
but I think remember we got to remember he was out for a whole year last year. Coming back from injuries is, as bad as he was, it will probably take some time. And then also he's added in being captain as well, taking over Bromwich. Another added responsibility. You're suspended. I'd say still give him some time. It'll take a lot of people, maybe almost half the year. Maybe if he does get picked for Origin, then his form will pick up after that. But can't write him off after only like what 5, 6 rounds after a whole year off. Still hoping in my man, Tommy Gilbert, but hey, I think the best move was having Platty back there at 13. The more he's involved
Yeah,
in the game, but the better it
agree.
is for the side.
100%. And would you apply that same sort of like giving time for the Panthers as well? Not obviously not having a good start to the
Nah,
season.
bro, I don't care about those guys, bro. They can stay in the bin, bro. They've had 4 years of dominance, bro. They can they can fight for the wooden spoon this year.
Yeah, a lot of chat around a lot of the players that went out of the Panthers last year and their poor starts of the season. And, does that add value to the likes of the Luais and the James Fisher Harrises that have left the squad, contributing to the poor start from the Panthers there, probably? Who knows?
Boys, what do you guys reckon?
Not at all. Let the boys relax this year. Give them some time off. Not at all.
Let them
Everyone's had enough.
let them go visit the boys in Bondi, eh? They're all just gonna be playing for last place anyway.
Yeah, at least we can do so and enjoy the beach. So, but we've got more men out than family bar this year, so I don't think that the Roosters are sort of,
Family
we've
bar,
got some built-in excuses.
No, man, we got
absolutely.
plenty of chat coming up for the Roosters. But yeah, no, Jack Cole, probably a bit disappointing for you guys having Jack Cole in your team, getting replaced by Blaze Talangi. Did you guys trade him out? Are you guys thinking of
My
keeping him?
gosh.
He might end up coming back in. Ended up
Yeah, he might ended up over there on the other side of the thing.
the other side.
I had Cole. I had Cole, and then I traded him out. I was able because with Humphreys out, I took out Humphreys and Cole, and was able to swap them with Galvin and Hubner. So
Oh, went in on Galvin, eh?
yeah,
Oh,
man.
just tell us your whole strategy there.
There's Mr. Galvin Klein over there, bro. Gotcha.
Galvingi, man. Yeah, nice 44.
Were there any other fantasy-worthy players in this game?
Well, shout out to all those that held Yo. Good
Oh,
on you. Man,
nice,
I dropped him after that 30-point outing in week
No.
two.
Oh,
Oh,
you
man,
thinking of
should've
getting him
kept
back
the
in
faith.
there?
Maybe, but he's going to be 800 plus after this week, I think.
Shout out to everyone who bought him on the low.
Shout out to you for having a lot of faith.
Exactly. Moving on to the Dragons Titans. I took the Titans to win this one, but they went down 16 points to 38 against the Dragons. Noteworthy out for the Titans, Tino Fasuamaleaui. Yeah.
What a shame.
Yeah. Big out for this one. But again, another sort of issue with the Dragons that I'm just a hater. I'm Lachlan Ilias, halfback for the Dragons there, and a real successful team, but I feel like he's just like a big hole that they've got to fill. Pause.
How do you fill that hole?
But because I'm watching the game on the weekend and it's looking like Flano Jr.'s team. And their left side of the Dragons has got some strike. Gutho's getting a lot of respect in some of these plays. Their shape is looking amazing. Like I said, yeah, Gutho's getting a lot of respect, and then they got the options here. Luciano Leilua came on and threw a beautiful ball to, who was there? I think Tupelots on the wing or Holmes for a beautiful try. Anyway, it's looking like Flano Jr.'s team. And so with Ilias and his poor kicking, poor decision making, I thought at the end of some real good hard-working sets from the Dragons, I feel like they got to be preemptive as well, fixing that, addressing that issue. How they do that, I'm not too sure, but I think the first thing is you got to let this be Flano Jr.'s team. Another shining light for this team as well, Dylan Egan, a fantasy gun. Did any of you guys get in on the action?
Where the heck did he come from? And how does everyone know about him?
20 years old, yeah, out of nowhere. I mean, unless you were following, the lower grades and you would have seen him coming up and expected this.
Who dropped out so he could get in?
Oh, that back row is there's the Ray Faitala Mariners, there's quite a few people waiting in the wings to get into that back row. Some more fantasy-worthy players in the team. Any of you guys got Campbell? Jaden Campbell.
Jaden Campbell, bro, was 77
like
points.
A solid option, eh?
And just with the eye test as well, he's just looking amazing. He's doing it on both ends of the field.
Yeah. He might be, I reckon, put him in the Origin squad. Not as obviously a starter, but just to get around those boys as part of the extended squad. The way he's playing at the moment, and we said this last week, if he continues the way he's going with like his trajectory is going to be Origin. He's been playing like the best footy of his career this season. So yeah, man, put him in the extended squad for me. Get around all the other Origin experience, and then blood him through. Him and then Flanagan Jr. on the other side should be starting for New South Wales. I reckon number one halfback for New South Wales this year, bro. Put him in.
You might guys see you have a chance then.
Flano, Ilias, love it, bro.
Think about it like this. Cleary's got nothing else to play for this year. Panthers are cooked. What do you think he's going to do with the 3 games that actually matter?
Do we see that chin that rises to the occasion who hasn't done so in the Origin arena so far?
I reckon just go visit Maya in England. Just take the year off. Hey, just take the whole year off, bro. Call it down.
Is that a reason for his poor performance?
Nah, not at all. Oh, well, maybe.
I'm probably another up and down player in if we're talking, NRL fantasy. Brimo, having a good game. Any of you guys chuck him out of your team with a couple of poor performances there?
There's just too much trash in my team to start off with, so he was like sort of at the bottom of the list.
Yeah.
I would have traded him if I could, but hey, I'm glad I didn't. Obviously not a choice that I made.
So you're keeping him in there, eh?
Well, I guess so.
That was my dilemma, man. I had Iongi. I was caught between him and Iongi to be in my interchange, and he was going to be in the emergency. Last call, I swapped Brimo. I brought him in. And on the topic, he might be changing his allegiance to England as well. I believe.
Oh, wow. Didn't hear that at all.
Oh, yeah. Nice. My sources have been telling me from the side. They may know, hey, he might change to England. So,
nice. I didn't even know you had ties to England. Good shout. Cool. Awesome. Okay.
Before we move on,
yep.
David Fifita, where the hell did that 94 come from? Is that like trash stats? Like, was he
Yeah.
just like bumping people off like in the 70th minute when people stopped caring?
Nice, yeah. His first start to the season, I think that was too. Good shout, Mossy. Yeah,
That was an
no,
insane squad. He's
amazing.
sitting at 628 at the moment, so that's not a bad. It's not a bad
Yeah,
pickup for next week if anyone's keen.
previous games we did get those high points. He was doing a lot of the sideways running and when the defenders sort of coming in and just leaving his hand out. Yeah, leaving his hand out. People touch it. Oh, that's a tackle break. So a lot of those sideways running and offloads, and I love to see it. Is he a target for me? Probably not. Just with his, the coach chucking him on the bench, starting him. Not too sure about his role at the moment, so I'll probably hold off for a little bit. I might miss out because this is probably the lowest he's going to be for the rest of the season as well. So good for you if you go for him early.
All right, before we move on, got a little trivia for you, lads. All right,
Let's see it.
so I have a rugby league term, and you're gonna try and figure out what it means. All right, you're not gonna look online, but you're gonna figure out what it means. This is a rugby league term, I swear.
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
here you go.
Trust you.
The rugby league term is pegging. Pegging.
Oh, how? Hey.
What does pegging mean?
Does it have anything to do with sidelines?
Hey, no.
No. Okay, I don't know.
All right, you have 5 more seconds. 5.
Some sort of obstructive thing with defending and stuff. I don't know. Exposed.
Shove.
I don't know about rugby league, but
Pegging, bro. Pegging. All right.
saying it again is not going to make me know what it is.
Let's hear it,
I
bro.
heard
What
you
is
the first time.
pegging?
Yeah, but all right. Pegging refers to the act of holding a ball carrier and bringing them to the ground. It's essentially a tackle where the tackler maintains their grip on the player with the ball and take them to ground. So out of you guys, Samidi was the one who knew how to peg the most.
I'll just Google it right now just to confirm your description.
Pegging. I've never heard that before.
Yeah,
Hey, it
well,
means you've never taken tacklers, rugby league players to the ground.
I'll spend all your time,
the last
wasted time
contact game I played,
watching rugby.
any contact game I played, I think I played rugby for Weymouth like a while
They do
ago.
a lot of pegging.
Zero tackles. Zero tackles.
Hayes can.
And what about
confirm.
rugby league?
Am I right, Shelby? All right. Did you find the term?
That's accurate.
All right.
You better type NRL next to pegging. Flip.
No, sorry, this is the Fox Memorial and Shaman Cup, bro. These are those rooms. All right, as you were.
Rightio, moving on to the next game. Bucks upset against the Bronx. Good game, really good game. Winning the game 26-16 there. Probably more, not really interesting to us, but interesting for Xavi being a Chucks fan.
I mean, we don't have a lottery to tank for Wemby this year. Any win is a good win. No more to say, we're missing players. We need more players than Love Island at the Roosters. Hella players. But like you say, it's an upset. It's obviously a year where we don't have any expectations, and just to get one up on Queensland is just something that's just going to set the tone for the rest of the year and all other facets. So we'll take it. Like you say, not much else to say in this as a team that doesn't really have any expectations, and we'll see whether we stay up from the wooden spoon to the end of the year.
Yeah, no, the team looked really, really good. They won the middle. They're really, really aggressive with the forwards. Shining light in that game, I thought, and I've been talking about it since the beginning of the season. Celeste Fugetti. Don't know if you guys have seen that shining light off the bench. Old Real boy there. Not even too sure if he's 20 years old. I think he might be younger. But yeah, no, really good, solid pickup there for the Chucks. A notable out for that one, not really out, but replace Chad Townsend. We mocked him in the last podcast. I think one of the worst players in the league, right up there with Lachlan Ilias, I think. And the coach listened to our podcast and obviously made some changes. Havala coming in there as a replacement 7. Post-game. Talk between JT the Legend and Spencer Leniu. Thoughts on that?
Not mad about any of that. Listening to how Spencer replied on social media, how JT was real quiet when Mam got into his little incident at the beginning of the year, but then had everything to say about his use of a particular animal as a way to mock the other dude. I'm not mad. Not mad at his reasoning. Maybe it could have been delivered a little bit better, but hey.
Yeah, blown way out of proportion for me. JT made, not just one or two comments about when the thing came around. He was on about it quite a bit, and with everything sort of being racially charged and, sort of being fueled politically there with the game and everything, I thought it's, something that didn't really need to be talked about. And another thing I wanted to sort of point out there was after all that drama, JT obviously never spoke privately with Leniu there, but Chalmette, circumstances probably called for it, but Chalmette at New South Wales camp had a private chat with Leniu and they sorted stuff out like that. So I feel, JT shouldn't be surprised with the reaction that he got from Leniu having not sorted this out privately after sort of going on a spiel about the crime or the punishment not fitting the crime, and then all of a sudden surprised that Leniu is pretty much not happy with him. So blown out of proportion, but yeah, see how things go.
That's why New South blood runs deep. You know, these boys, they can move past it all to, you know, get together for the bigger picture. But obviously, when you add another element of JT being a Queenslander, maybe some things aren't
Yeah,
meant to be
bigger picture, state
reconciled.
versus
So
state.
yeah, exactly, way bigger.
Hey, look, guys. JT just wanted to channel his inner Stephen A. Smith. All right. He wanted to channel his inner Stephen A. Spencer wanted to pretend that he was LeBron. Okay. And now JT's going to go on a Taylor Swift tour. All right. And he's going to go to all the different social media outlets. All right. And he's going to be gain a lot of traction because JT, sources tell me is going to create his own podcast as well. He might be a feature guest on Boys on the Rocks. Just a little insight for you guys. But he just wanted to have his own Taylor Swift tour. That's all that happened. They're just channeling their inner LeBron and Stephen A. That's all. That's all that needs to happen then.
Tell me you're maroon without telling me you're maroon.
Hey, 9 years in a row, guys. So I have to say. No matter what you guys say, I will always say that, and then you guys shush. You guys
Hold this
Wake
out.
up now.
yourself.
Wake up now. Stop living in the past.
Slap yourself. All right. All right. What's next?
Peace. Sharks won the game against the Seagulls there 24-18. We made note in the last podcast about, Hayes brought it up about sort of the confusion between whose team it is and the Sharks, and I thought Trindle controlled this game really well. I got to kick myself up the bum because Will Kennedy had himself a game, and I sort of dissed him in the last podcast, saying that he's sort of the hole in their spine there, but ended up being the best on the field, of course, as you do. Make a call, and then it ends up being completely wrong in the next week. I also shout out Will Kennedy for having himself a game out there in Perth and contributing
He
to the
heard you.
Sharks'
He heard
amazing
you and
game
wanted to
against the
prove you
Seagulls.
wrong.
It's a clap
He
back.
proved me wrong, all right?
Yeah.
But yeah, no, what a problem to have for the Sharkies where if one of your stars are out or not performing well, that you've got another one in a key position in the spine to go to, and in order to win the game. Crazy.
I'm be honest, I didn't watch this game.
I was going to say, but I think I caught the tail end when Luke Brooks
I didn't watch this
intercepted at
game.
like 10 meters
I had a few
and then
on the
ran
rocks.
it home.
But yeah, all I know, DCE wants to captain from there. That's all I know, bro. And he wants to come to the fence. That's all.
Any new
Reckon?
updates from your sources as to where he
You
might be
reckon?
going?
Yeah, bro, fins up. They're just waiting for him to make the first move. They don't want to go in first and then up his price to get everyone to try and match his price. But yeah,
How in the world does
The
that work?
Fins couldn't get any worse.
Anything else fantasy worthy
doing
in
better
this game?
than the Roosters.
Clayton Faulalu.
At the same point.
I don't know who that is. But did he do anything interesting? He scored a solid
Is that the winger for the
53.
Seagulls?
Yeah,
I think he
priced
got a
at
try in that
285 at the
game, I'm not
moment.
too sure, but probably not a player that stays in that team for too long with the outs that they
No.
have. We'll move on then. Cowboys and Rabbitohs. Cowboys coming up with the upset there, but with a lot of key outs from the Rabbits and Latrell notably moving into the 6 role. He looked quite fluid there, and I'll be honest, I didn't really catch this game, but I did tip the Cowboys to win, so I'm happy with that.
Loss for the Rabbitohs is a good thing.
As a proud
The
Chicks fan.
rivalry's real. Sharks.
Again.
On the
Another
rocks.
game that I
Sharks
didn't watch.
on the rocks.
On the rocks.
Yeah, no, but I tell you what,
Yeah, fair enough.
there's definitely some players that are underperforming and sort of what I made note of in the last episode, stealing money in the comp. And I feel like in this game, who was out in this game, John Bateman. John Bateman was a notable signing there for the Cowboys coming into the season. He looked really hot. Coming in super fit. He was just like the fittest, the fittest that he's been in his career. Ended up being a flop in this opening season. Do you feel like he recovers for the rest of the season when he comes back?
Heaps of time left.
I mean, you can fix fitness. I feel like you can, but I don't think you can fix poor tackling.
You should know, Smitty. I saw Purdue from a fantasy standpoint had a game.
Yeah, shout out to all those that held him, whether begrudgingly or not. Came up with a 71.
Yeah, 2 weeks in a row. I thought I would have learned my lesson last week, sitting there in my emergency. But yeah, filthy on that one.
All right, I got another trivia question for you guys. All right, so question number 2. John Hopewadi, most famous for his amazing Naruto skills. All right. Quick question for you. When this incident happened, which hand did he use? So this is a 50 to reach up there. All right. Yeah, the
The hand that he used
50% chance of getting
was
this
his right
question right.
hand, and this is the finger he used.
Maybe like
Man, the visual, man.
one hand to strip the ball and the other hand to.
So which
I don't
hand
know.
was the one that stripped the ball, and which hand was the one the left? We're going left.
You talked about his first time or the usual
Sorry,
hand that he used?
the
It's gonna
first
be
time.
right
The
hand.
first time.
Oh,
Surely
first time.
it's like
Yeah.
trying to like reenact this tackle and you left shoulder.
Yeah, reenact the
Oh.
tackle to yourself, bro.
Maybe I'll.
Right hand. The hand of the king.
Yes, man.
All right, Eros, you're absolutely wrong. Midi and Shavi,
Oh my god.
it was the right hand of God. All right.
I mean, how do you even know? Like, how many
Hey,
videos did you watch to confirm that?
I had to do a lot
Yeah.
of analysis
Confirm
on
your
this.
source,
Yeah,
please.
two tabs open for
Yeah,
the
two tabs
for
open.
these 2 tabs open for this trivia.
Yeah.
One of that, one of the pegging. So.
Yeah. Pigging and the hand of God channeling his inner Maradona.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Next game?
Yeah, next game.
Next game.
Righty, Raiders coming out with the win there, 50 points against the Eels, 12. I thought, shout out Jamal Fogarty, his 100th game there. Dylan Walker, obvious transfer from the Warriors, and I thought he's been an improvement for the Eels side. Obviously still vying for the spoon probably at the end of the season, but comes on, Eels look a bit more organised, look like they know what they're doing, and he sets up a nice try there.
That's more organized? Losing by 50? Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we see games where they're arm wrestling a lot earlier in the game and then sort of run away with it in the second half there, which is sort of what happened with the Raiders. I mean, they didn't look like at any point they're going to win the game, but they're definitely competing there early in the game. But yeah, Raiders, young team, are probably going to lose Fogs to Manly. They got to find a way to keep him. But, do you keep a player that's, coming into his 30s on the back end of his career when they got the likes of Ethan Sanders coming up there waiting to get blooded in the 7 jersey? Probably not. Okay.
I don't know.
I don't know, man. Let's ask a Raiders fan.
From a fantasy point of view, any players that he sort of kept in, Galtonga. Yeah, really, really good cash cow that
Anyone
we
that's picked him up.
put in our team. And thanks
Where do
to
all those
the
points come
out
from?
there.
Just lots of carries, lots of
He's
offloads?
been a go-to player in their attack, surprisingly. I mean, they had the more experienced Sean Lane there on the left edge, who wasn't really getting involved in the game, and the ball ended up in Galdonga's hands a lot during that game. So, yeah, shout out to all the players that picked up.
That's cash cow Tonga right there. Thank you. Thank you, Eros.
Dragons and Dylan Egan from the Dragons and Galdonga here for the Eels. What about Nicholson? You guys keep Nicholson in your guys' team?
He was straight in when Zach Hosking went up. I'm not sure.
Yeah, Hosking probably returns soon, probably next week, I think. So that'll be interesting how they work their rotation.
Hosking comes off the bench.
Because I was thinking about picking up Tapine, but with his limited minutes as well, and sort of playing reckless and his high contact.
Tapine might be good during Origin.
And they got a pretty good bye schedule as well coming up.
Right.
Yeah, see how that goes.
On the topic of the Raiders, I'm going to give a shout out to Hudson Young. He's been on a tear lately. He's been so good on that left edge for the Raiders, bro. I think for the last 2-3 games, he's scored at least one try in each of those last few games. So,
yeah, one thing I loved about him, I saw a segment on, I think it was Fox, they had him mic'd up and I didn't realize how much he talked. So obviously a huge leader in their team and it sort of shows with his performance. So yeah, can't wait to see how he brings that to the Origin arena. Definitely starting for me.
Do we need him on the edge? We need him this year?
Yeah.
All right.
I'd say he's top pick. Yeah, top pick for second row.
Oh, good. And you said one try a game. Pump those numbers up for Origin.
100%. Cool.
I'm just going to change my shirt for this next one.
Yeah, moving on to some sad news now with the Warriors going down to the Melbourne Storm. Possibly a grand finalist team with Hughes,
I thought they were the bogey.
Yeah, bogey team.
VDs.
I had a bogey team when the TVs were black and white, bro. It was so long ago. All sorry Waz fans, we're all living in the past, bro. Would we say that the Waz are Melbourne's bogey team? Because today,
I mean, we won the second half.
Come from?
You're right. You're right.
That's true.
I think for me,
Silver linings.
Jerome Hughes he's the key to that team. If he's healthy, Melbourne Storm go all the way. That's the only thing that's going to stop them from winning this comp, I think, is Jerome Hughes out. We saw that with him going missing he was injured at halftime, didn't come back on the field, and then Warriors ended up winning the second half. Another notable out there, James Fisher-Harris going out with a chest injury, pec injury. So see how that sort of pans out. But yeah, liking what I'm seeing from the Warriors, to be honest, if the second half was anything to go by. But yeah, again, the Storm, just too much strike, too much polish. If they got Hughes, they're going all the way.
Ugh,
Yeah.
no one wants to see this.
What?
No one wants to see the Storm win. Holy hell.
Yeah. Man, their spine is starting to click again. Pepe is finding his form. Grant's always like just before Origin, then that's when he starts to um, lift his game. And then Money coming back from his injury, he's looking really good, looking really fit. He's gonna carve you guys up in a few weeks' time, guarantee that. But yeah, Munster, bro, just quick shout out to that guy. We all know how classy he is, and when he's getting front football, he's able to just work off Hughes or DCE in the Origin area.
Well, he won't be getting front football in Origin, so don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, nah, shout out Aaron Clark, his 100th game as well, Real Boy as well. And he was probably the best on the park there for the Warriors. The shout out to him could end up being one of the best signings for the whole comp if the year goes well for him. Alrighty, last game of the NRL week, we had the Tigers coming away with the victory there, 20 points to 4 against the Knights. And I didn't really watch this game. I was setting up the podcast, but just from what I did see, Kalen Ponga. Talk about starting off the year really hot and then just falling flat there in the last couple of games. His form's been really poor. There was a couple of rumours there that he might have been filling the role for Chance Clockstead, who's now been tipped to move to Super League. But talk about falling flat in the last couple of weeks. He's same old story. He has a little dry spout and then he sort of comes away and steals Dally M medals at the end of the season.
You know how it is with Dally M medals. It's not really a holistic review. It's a point system, so you can actually be sort of mediocre across a number of games instead of outstanding. Dally M's or whatever.
Yeah, I think, bro, like without Ponga, the Knights are nothing, man. So it's hard to get him. The way they're playing, they're defending him. They're just trying to shut him down early. When you're able to shut him down early, then it's hard to get the boys back in the to go forward and stuff. So it's hard luck carrying the team on your shoulders. I experienced that quite a lot as well. It's hard to carry this podcast on my shoulders and hard to carry the Queensland team in the room full of New South Wales supporters. So I know how KP feels. So we're
Kyle,
practically the
come back
same.
and save this
We're
guy.
practically the same, bro. Me and him.
That's the first thing we can agree on. You having to carry for your Queensland teammates.
No, but the Tigers, talk about the poor performance of the Panthers, probably linking that to the exits of some of their key players there, Luai and James Fisher-Harris, and then seeing the success of the West Tigers now with some of the ex-Panthers. And we start to connect the dots there, and the Tigers...
So, man, they got one more win than the Roosters, and the Roosters are having a terrible year.
Good point. But I sort of seen, just by watching the games and seeing their spine, they're sort of clicking well and they're converting it to points. With the likes of Jareen Buller and Lockie Galvin there, he's probably going to get locked up soon in terms of his contract. Tigers looking good. They're definitely not vying for a spoon, in my opinion. And they're really, really, really fun team to watch this year. As Luai coming to the team, contributing to the success. What do you guys think?
Probably. You'd hope they're not battling for the spoon after the money they spent. Anything's an improvement from previous years, I suppose.
Yeah, Truck's probably shooting themselves in the foot there. They're sort of packed in the sort of forward department, but then letting go of Terrell May, he sort of turned his team around as well. Shout out to the fantasy gun.
He's fantasy goat at the moment, bro. He's doing so well.
Yeah, he's in the top 3, I reckon, for signings of the year, in my opinion.
Probably.
Yeah, absolutely. Like him, Jerome. But going back to Jerome Luai, I think I said it last week too. Like his stats won't show how good of a player he is. Like in fantasy, he's not a fantasy type player, but you can see the way he marches his boys around and he brings a lot to their culture. And I think he was one of their sparks for Panthers culture as well. Like being able to lead the charge for them, being able to get the chin to just play his game, and Luai can be that bad guy if he needs to, or be the guy to tell all the boys what to do. And he's bringing it over to the Tigers, the same mentality. That's why he's co-captain with Appy. I think that helps Appy's game as well, having someone in the spine that he's familiar with as well, and having Taruva there on the edge. It gives him a sense of, I don't know, like a winning culture, bringing their winning culture over there. And yeah, now they're like thriving, even though they are one game over the Roosters. It's only been 5-6 rounds, bro. So I think the Roosters are a negative winning percentage, and the Tigers are not. So
yeah, I'm buying it, man. From what I'm seeing from the Tigers, I'm buying it. I'm invested. Fun team to watch, and I feel like I think they're going top 8 this year. I'm seeing how they're playing.
yeah, man, them and the Finns.
Just won 2 games.
Lossie, what's your take?
Well, anyone that's held Stafford tour, good on you. Never seen this consistency before. I think a couple years ago he scored 100 points and
Yep.
then was just straight zeros after that. So I don't know what he's like from a playing perspective, but on fantasy he's a gun. Scored a try
Yeah,
in the last
came off the
3 weeks,
game.
I
Yeah,
think.
I'm not too sure if it was a sunburn injury.
It was Simba. He got into
Yeah.
a argument with, can't remember who it was, but they were both sent off.
Oh yeah, nah, dang, Ngai, gay guy.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Any targets for fantasy? I think we got the first round with 3 trades available this week.
I think for me, I'm just gonna try and trade one player. I had Hamish Stewart up, like he's on my team. I'm gonna try and trade him out for Egan.
Nice, yeah, that'll be a smart.
Depending.
As a 1-to-1, they're about the same price, eh?
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
after
you
this
would have
week
missed
they'll
out
be
on
in
a lot of
30%.
cash. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know who I'm going to get in, but I definitely know who's going out. And if anyone else has him, Ponga, he's out of there.
Yep. They could definitely spread his cap before he loses too much value. Yeah, it might be a good shout. I'm holding on to. I'm holding on to Ponga, hoping and praying.
More
See
faith
how
in
he
me,
goes.
mate. More faith in me, mate.
See how he goes. I'm trying to limit my trades now with all the injuries that are happening this season. Hoping, to hold some trades and try and win on the back end of the season. Doggies had a bye this round, and with what you guys have seen so far, do you see them as a bona fide grand finalist team?
Nope, not yet. It's early to tell for grand final. Nah, but definitely top 8 for sure.
Who have they played
Who
so
do
far?
you see up there with the Melbourne Storm?
Stormies and Broncos probably if they're able to. They got all the talent there, man. So I see the Broncos up there.
Anything to say to that, Xavi, after you just pretty much murdered their team on the weekend?
Hardly murdered a blip, you know. I'm sure they'll be back, and the Roosters won't. But like I say, we'll take it for now.
There was a murder on the weekend though, and it was my fantasy team murdered Xavi's fantasy team. So there was that. So
I'm sure you did.
so there was that. So
Surely you just auto-pick their whole team.
he doesn't care about his team, bro. That's bona fide buy round for us, bro. When we play Xavi's team.
At least you get points. In a buy round, you don't get points. So.
Yeah, you do.
You do? Okay. Well, then you get
Yeah,
points.
just
minus
starting.
10.
Yeah, just no bench in the buy rounds. I mean, yeah, I'm looking at getting Yo in at some point. I think it's too late, not too sure. But the Raiders buy schedule is looking a bit too juicy at the moment. So avoid. So I'm looking at probably getting some Raiders players in to play that buy round. But yeah, any other targets
I'd give
for you guys
Tuppen
on
a
the
go.
fantasy? Yeah.
I think just getting back to Origin. I feel like he'd be a good person to hold.
Yeah, but worried about Tuppen the way he plays and with his high contact penalties and whatnot.
I mean, if you got Horsburgh, then you get Tuppen as well.
Yeah, do we upgrade Horsburgh to the likes of if you got cap space, a lot of thinking and to do in terms of changes this week.
I got one more rugby league trivia for the night.
Pegging.
Right, so
what was the other one?
We had pegging. We had the Naruto saga happening with John Hapawari.
Yeah.
Third question is, name the NRL coach who was caught sleeping in the McDonald's car park after a big night out.
Okay.
No.
Oh, it's like when? Recently? Or just...
Yeah, you can give us a time frame?
A current NRL coach.
Current NRL coach?
And yeah, current NRL coach.
Can we have a age range? Like less older than 50? Less than 50?
Old.
50 and up? Like now or at the time of the incident?
Eros, do you want me to spoon feed it to you, mate?
I'll just go Desi. I'm trying to think.
Yeah, we got Desi.
I don't even know responsible coaches these days, right?
Yeah, give me the reckless one.
Yeah, like I would have. My guess would have been Freddie, but he's not a current coach, right? So
Okay, I'll just go Ricky Stewart then. I don't know.
Ricky Stewart.
Mm.
And what about you, Shav?
he's one of the Origin coaches.
Just take a
Billy.
shot from that.
Billy
He's
Slater.
It's not 50,
sub
but
50.
Oh, right.
That could be.
I forgot about that. About that.
All right. The answer is none other than the GOAT coach himself, Wayne Bennett. He was
Bennett's a fitness freak. I was like, nah, he would be cool at a Macca's.
He was sleeping at a Macca's car park after a big night out.
Oh, doesn't mean that he win. Yeah, true.
Yeah. All right, there you go. There's a few things you didn't know or may have known in terms of some questions over there. So I want you guys to think about it. NBA players and their NRL comparisons. All right, so I've had a list down here, but I'll probably only give you guys 3 or 4 to think about. Okay, so these are current NRL players, in NBA players, but you can compare them to past or former players. Yeah. So first up, we'll go with the king himself, Mr. LeBron James. Who would you compare him to the NRL?
Thinking with the beard straight off the bat, Payne Haas. Just thinking beard straight off the bat.
Yeah.
Payne Haas being
Like
a
Cavaliers,
goat prop
bro.
at the moment.
Is that the direction you're thinking? Oh, yeah. I think it's someone like longevity, like
Yeah.
someone who's played for forever.
It depends on what you guys are comparing them to. For me, yeah, I'm on
Yeah.
the same boat as Shav. In
The
Yeah.
terms
DCE.
of like maybe their play styles, kind of the player that they are.
Yeah.
And
Right,
remember, it can
right,
be
right.
current or former. So
I guess they don't have to share like the same
Cam
body type as
Smith.
much as like the way that they play.
for me, I had Cam Smith in terms of longevity. I think he's the highest point scorer. Is he?
Yep.
And
Bit,
yeah,
bit grubby here and there.
yeah,
I'd agree. I'd agree.
yeah. So yeah, LeBron, Cam Smith. Yeah, everyone agree?
Yep.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
good.
Sweet. This next one we got Steph.
Steph.
Steph,
Is it?
the Chef Curry.
Is that Cleary? Like Steph's had some stacked teams that he's played on. Cleary's coming off the tail end of having some very stacked teams and on route to that 4-peat. I think Cleary's probably closest one to it, eh?
Yeah, I'm thinking like along the lines of like a Slater attacking strike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Reece Walsh, kind of like
Super
super
attacking
electric.
strike.
Yeah, attacking strike. Yeah.
I think for me, I'm on the same boat as Eros. I had Nathan Cleary. Steph was known for his 3-pointers. That's what he does best. And I think in a way, like that can be compared to Nathan's kicking game, and they're both quite real smart.
Yeah.
And at the same time, Steph hasn't really won. I think he's won one Finals MVP, if any, and Nathan Cleary, which he should have more Steph like Finals MVPs to be honest. And Nathan Cleary hasn't won a Dally M yet, and he's considered like the best player in the world. So that's for me. Shelby, you have your thinking face on there.
Yeah. No, it's got to. He's. I see Cleary as more like a CB3 assisting, and then
Yeah,
someone
yeah,
like
yeah.
Steph is all offense.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah. I guess play style
like
wise,
you
yeah.
say, a Billy or a Kalen or a Reece Walsh type or a Teddy type.
I can see Kalen's a good shout. Carries his team as well, just like Steph
Not
does.
at the moment,
At
but
the
yeah.
moment. All right, next one. Giannis. For me, I think this one will be Payne Haas.
That sounds about
Yeah.
right. Like just a freak
A
athlete.
freak athlete, big, strong, fast, and just way dominant.
Yeah, I can't think of anyone else along those lines. Anyone from the past that anyone wants to reach
Yeah,
out to?
the first person that came to mind for that one, weirdly, Sonny Fly. Just,
Okay.
built different. It seemed like they had unfair genetics. Yeah, the first one that came to mind, surprisingly.
Still thinking also?
Payne Haas sounds good, and he gave him all his flowers, and he'll use that against you this year.
Man, this guy waiting for the WWE chat, man.
All right, we got Joker.
Who's a big guy that distributes
Yeah,
in the
I
NRL?
got you. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
yep.
A big, tall, bold dude who does everything for their team.
Yeah, a little bit more polished though. Jokic doesn't make it look pretty, but it's effective. Yeah, probably a bit more polished.
And they're both slow as hell. So
What about Jokic?
I guess he's all right too.
Yeah. Jokic is.
Not Djokovic.
Cool. Luka,
Luka Doncic. Or is that like a Galvin?
who's so good at attack and sucks at.
Oh, actually, no, Galvin's pretty good on defense.
Hey, yeah, I'll take that. But I'm sure there's some former players as well.
It's like Luka's like a triple
Yeah,
double
like a
sort of dude. Eh?
DC.
Sort of does everything. You reckon?
DC in the fact that he's not super athletically gifted or talented. Luka's not really athletic, but is, just offensive Euro style.
But Luka's
Lies.
cool as well, so there's not really that.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you got me there.
I think
I
maybe
know.
for me it might be a Benji Marshall, Sean Johnson. Their attacking flair is crazy, and they're not really known for
I
their
see SJ.
defense. Yeah,
I see SJ.
and Benji for me.
More like SJ, like at the tail end of his career, because like flashy SJ, I'm not like he had speed and agility back then, so
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's like a direct comparison to Luka.
Yeah,
Like he's already got that old man play down packed, and he's like only 25 or something.
Yeah, the athletic ability is big for the Sun, I think.
But you
I
shut
can't
up,
think of
Eros.
anyone else.
You shut up, because you just cancelled my whole argument there, you bastard.
Well, I can't think of anyone. Like Luka's like an intentional old man slick sort of player. He's already wise beyond his years, and he's only like a kid.
Yeah.
Does anyone like that, like in the NRL? Like Galvin was the first thought off the bat, but he's pretty good on defense. So
Chav,
Agree.
just wants to jump into the RKO there. Man.
I got two more for you, and I think You guys may probably all have the same answer for this one, which would be Kawhi, a player with a lot of great, amazing potential, but is always injured.
I
Good
feel like
person to think of.
you're going to say the answer, and it's going to be like,
Yeah. For me,
Yeah.
for me, it's Turbo.
oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Tommy
That's a good
Turbo.
one. Always injured.
Always injured, but when he plays, he can be potentially the best player in the game. Yep.
Yep. No, I don't think there's anyone else.
Yeah.
Bonus one, MJ.
GOAT. Who's the NRL GOAT for the time being?
It's debatable.
It's one of those old Queenslanders, you know. That's
The Mal
the
Meningas,
consensus has got to be,
the Wally
But like,
Lewis,
someone from the era
is
as
there
well,
one name
you
that
know.
everyone brings up that's like,
Maybe
oh,
not
this is
necessarily,
the
but
NRL
think
GOAT?
about people who changed the game as well. Sort of got a lot of eyes on footy. I mean, who are the players that sort of got our interest in footy, or was it the teams?
I mean, us, you know, coming from New Zealand as well. Yeah.
So I'll put some players out there, and you guys can throw them out. So we got, obviously Wally Lewis, who's before our time. So I think
The hell with all
No.
those. You know.
we got JT.
So,
We got JT, who's
Yeah.
in the combo,
yeah.
and the other one for me would be Joey.
Yeah.
I mean, JT, similar with some of the other shouts, or just no athletic abilities, sort of. But yeah, with all of that, he still managed to become a legend. Jordan just had everything, you know. He had the talent, athletic ability. So I'm thinking more along the Joy Johns and even Chuck Freddie in there.
I've got one more name.
Freddie.
I got one more name.
Not to be biased,
Drop it. To one more name.
He didn't quite win the premiership, but he did show us all some interesting extracurricular techniques. And that man is Todd Carney.
Oh, come on, man.
Get out of here, man.
He's probably
He's the go to something.
he's
go to
the
something.
he's a swaggy P. He's a swaggy P, bro.
No pun intended.
He's the swaggy
That's
P.
good to me. That's good for you. Let the others catch up. A couple of business days, so that's it.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to watch the replay on that one.